Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming today to this exciting um, transatlantic Shrewsbury program. I think we've got a really fun uh, series of events on the agenda. So, without further ado, we can start introducing ourselves. I'm Mike Zeller. I'm going to rename myself too. I'm Mike Zeller. I'm the assistant director at the Shrewsbury Public Library in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. Do we want to go around and introduce ourselves, the rest of us?
Hi, I'm Priya Ratnam. I'm the director of the Shrewsbury Public Library in Massachusetts and really excited with this collaborative project with our librarian friends in UK.
Hi, I'm Catherine Berry. I'm the branch manager of Shrewsbury Library in the UK. And again, yeah, it's really exciting to be here tonight. We had a folder sent to us in 2003 from Shrewsbury Public Library. So we're getting on for 20 years. So ever since we got that, had lovely photos of the library and of the staff dressed up for events and things. So the pandemic has made us reach out virtually, whereas maybe we wouldn't have done that before. So it's a really exciting event tonight. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, my name's Joe. I'm a library assistant in Shrewsbury Library, and yeah, I've really enjoyed working with everybody on the sort of logistics side of this, if you like. And it's really exciting to be able to, turn an enforced sort of lockdown into a really friendly, happy kind of virtual holiday, really, for the next hour. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sonia Drotter. I'm head of children's services at the Shrewsbury Public Library in Massachusetts. I'm really looking forward to sharing our libraries with you guys today. It was a fun project and hope you enjoy.
And I'm Diana Karras. I'm a children's librarian at the Shrewsbury Public Library in Massachusetts. And I helped video and edit our video for today.
All right, so with that, I think we'll start showing the videos. And we had talked about it beforehand. We're going to show Shrewsbury UK's video first. So just give me 1 second to cue that up.
My name's Catherine Berry. I'm branch manager of Shrewsbury Library here in Shropshire in the UK. And we're going to take you on a virtual tour of our library. So welcome. We're looking forward to showing you some lovely bits of it.
Shrewsbury School was founded by Edward VI in 1552. The buildings were used until 1882 when the school moved to Kingsland. The buildings were then handed over to the town, which became the Public Library and Museum in 1885. The buildings eventually became unsafe and were closed in 1976 for extensive renovation and reopened in 1984 to the public.
Within school gardens, there is a bust of romantic novelist and poet Mary Webb, who was born in Shropshire and lived in many surrounding villages of Shrewsbury in the early 20th century. Her love of Shropshire and its beautiful countryside can be found in her work, and the bust is engraved with the titles of her famous novels, such as Gone to Earth and The Golden Arrow.
Charles Darwin came to school here in 1818 when he was 9 years old, but he did not enjoy the experience at all. The schooling was wholly classically based, which he found difficult and dreary. Charles was to remark in later life that school as a means of education to me was simply a blank. His interests for collecting and observing plants, insects and birds stood him in good stead for his life ahead. He enjoyed hunting and fishing, but drew the ire of his father, who commented, "You care for nothing but shooting, dogs and rat catching, and you will be a disgrace to yourself and your family." Strong words indeed. The statue of Darwin was unveiled on the 10th of August 1894 and cost at the time £1,086. The building has 2 sundials on the south wing. The sundials show Shrewsbury Time, which is about 10 minutes after Greenwich Mean Time. Over the archway is the coat of arms of Charles I. The two statues represent Philomath and Polymath. The one on the right is Philomath, a lover of learning, with his hat ready to be filled with knowledge. The one on the left, Polymath, a person of wide knowledge or learning, has a hat brimming with knowledge. The inscription is from Isocrates and says, "If you are a lover of learning, you will become learned."
This is Riggs Hall, Grade 2 listed part of the building, oldest part of the building with its lovely beams.
The oldest part of the building is Riggs Hall, which predates the establishment of the school, having been built before 1540 against the old town walls. It is a timber-built hall and solar with a stone-walled cellar. Behind Riggs Hall there were fives courts and a playground, but the boys in the school were left to their own devices a lot of the time. Any disagreements were settled by fists, and the headmaster, Dr. Butler, mostly turned a blind eye to the fights, which were said to be several a week. The wooden beams in the upper Riggs area have the marks which indicate prefabricated beams. These marks were used during the renovations. The upper part of Riggs also shows a portion of the original wattle and daub, now covered in perspex, which shows the interior materials, which included hazel twigs, clay, cow dung and straw. Of particular note are the gable end carvings of Riggs Hall. Some of it is original, the rest was carved during the renovations by a local carpenter, who followed tradition by modelling his own head. The vine leaf and grape designs is characteristic of the work of Shrewsbury carpenters from around the late 16th century and appears elsewhere in the town.
This is the West Wing. It was originally used as a chapel in the old school, and it's where we keep our fiction now.
The West Wing housed the school chapel and was consecrated in 1617. It is remembered as a cold, dark room by the pupils, and the boys would play cricket in there before services to warm up. The panelling and the pulpit were removed and taken to the new school at Kingsland. Nowadays, this is the library's fiction section. Originally, the foyer was an outdoor courtyard, as indicated by the stone walls and the drain pipes. The original entrance to the building was the archway, which now leads through to the stairs, and you can still see the hinges on the archway. During the renovations, the existing buildings were linked to provide the new reception area. They used glass, lead and oak to blend in with the rest of the building. A plaque marks the reopening of the library by Princess Margaret in 1983. She wasn't the first princess to visit, though. Princess Victoria visited in 1833, while she and her mother, the Duchess of Kent, stayed at Pitchford Hall. One of the boys described her as a short, uninteresting girl.
This is the Darwin Room, and the notable thing about this room is the crests on the ceiling, which are from local families of Shrewsbury who were trustees of the school.
This room has a long history of use as a library. In 1612, £100 was spent on books, which is about £12,500 in today's money. Back then, the books were chained to the shelves and displayed with the spines at the back of the shelves. At that time, there was a long gallery which was used for exercise in poor weather. During the Civil War, the Archbishop of York and other noblemen lodged in the school. Charles I was in the council house across the road. In 1642, a council of war met in the library, and according to the then headmaster, when they left, some books disappeared with them. The school was also forced to lend the king £600. By the 18th century, the school was in serious decay, and the library was also being used as a hairdressing salon for the boys. The ceiling in this room was designed by John Hiram Haycock, a prominent Shropshire architect, and it features coats of arms of school trustees. These were local families such as Rock, Loxdale, Corbett, Cludd, Iton, Hill and Owen. In 1990, an earthquake measuring 5.1 on the Richter scale hit Shrewsbury and caused some damage to the pinnacles on the tower. They were in danger of falling and had to be secured, and also created the crack in the window at the end of the room. 20 years earlier, this room was so structurally insecure it could have meant collapse. One of the first things you notice in this room is the beautiful Gothic window, but this room also has the wonderful carvings in the wooden panels that surround the walls. The carvings date back to the 18th century, and they hide carvings on the stonework underneath. It was a privilege extended to the boys on leaving that they could carve their names into the woodwork, and some are immensely intricate and striking. We have unfortunately never found the name Darwin, presumably due to his lacklustre performance during his school days. This room would have been divided by 2 screens below the horizontal roof beams, which would allow 3 classes to be taught simultaneously. It was heated by only 2 small stoves and would not have been a nice place to study in the winter. At Christmas time, a stage would be erected at the far end of the room for the performance of plays. Prior to the renovations in 1978, an archaeological dig took place and several interesting finds were made, some items dating back to the Saxon period. They found pottery shards, a pipe, a collar and a letter about Shrewsbury races. A child's shoe was also found on one of the beams. It is an old English superstition to hide a child's shoe for good luck and to ward off evil. They also found a forged coin, gold on either side but brass within, which is now in a collection of forgeries at the British Museum.
At the top of the stairs is the clock tower. The clock was made by John Bryant of Hertford in 1814. The company Smiths of Derby annually service the clock, and each week it must be wound to bring the weights that are enclosed within the staircase back to the top. There are 52 steps that lead to the tower rooftop with the flagpole, and from here you can see spectacular views of Shrewsbury and the surrounding countryside.
So thank you for joining us on our tour. I hope you found it informative. And if you're ever in Shrewsbury in the UK, do come and pop and say hello.
Hi, welcome to the Shrewsbury Public Library. I'm Mike Zeller, the Assistant Director.
And hi, I'm Sonia Drotter, the Head of Children's Services.
It's very loud out here, so we're trying to speak up as loud as we can. Welcome to all of our UK viewers. We wanted to tell you a little bit about our community before we got started. So Shrewsbury, Massachusetts is located just outside of Worcester, right in the heart of central Massachusetts. It was founded in 1727, and today it's home to over 36,000 people. The library was originally incorporated in 1872. It was just originally a room in the town hall, but then in 1903, thanks to a generous donation from a local businessman, Jubal Howe, the original library building, what you what you see behind you was first opened. So before we move inside, we're going to take a few shots of our lovely grounds on this beautiful winter day.
So the library's had quite a few renovations since it's been in the center of the town of Shrewsbury, Mass. It was built originally in 1903, then it had a renovation in 1920, again in the 1970s, and finally our final renovation ended in 2016 to the building you see here. The building has grown over 10 times since the original building in 1903. During a typical year, one without COVID of course, we usually serve over 300,000 residents a year, and we're circulating over 500,000 items. Let's head inside.
So, this is the inside of our building now. This is technically our west entrance, which is not normally the main entrance of the building, but during COVID times, we've had to kind of shift things around a little bit. So, you might be noticing up and down this hallway, there are all sorts of books and DVDs and media. So we've actually turned this area, it used to be before COVID, it was kind of we called it the cafe, but it was really just a study area, an area where people could sit and relax. We had some tall tables, some comfy chairs set up around. But now it's kind of been turned into a self-service hold pickup area. So our library is currently closed to browsing, but you can go online or you can call our staff and you can put items on hold, and then you can come to this area to pick them up. And once you've gotten your item, you go all the way down the hallway and you'll see our lovely self-check machines. So patrons are able to use these machines and their library card to check out their items by themselves. So it's a no-contact pickup service.
Welcome to the library's meeting room. This space, when it's open like this, can hold, before COVID times, 175 people. What's great about this space is we can close this dividing wall and have two separate spaces. So oftentimes before COVID, we would have two simultaneous programs going on, which was wonderful. We often host author visits, local professors will give talks, we'll have children's programs in here, story times frequently. So it's a great versatile space. Right now, as you can see, thanks to COVID, unfortunately we're not able to have that many people in, so we've set up some small book displays, a movie display, and we have computers available for reservations.
Hi, I'm Annie Lee, our young adult librarian, and this is our young adult room. It's primarily geared towards kids in grades 5 to 12, which is about ages 10 to 18. And I'm going to take you through some of the highlights of why this is a popular after-school destination. So you have to use your imagination, but this is normally full of study tables, where Monday to Thursday, after school until closing time, every seat is filled with kids working on group projects, studying, reading, and having some hopefully quiet fun. A huge draw is our media corner, where kids can play on the PS4, the Wii U, or the Switch. They can check out controllers and games from the circulation desk to play here in the library, and also watch TV and movies and listen to music. The directional speakers keep the sound from spilling into the rest of the room. Friday afternoons are when it gets really loud. If you look outside the window on a Friday afternoon, you'll see crowds of middle schoolers heading here after school. This is the place to be because it's a clean, safe space where the kids can hang out with their friends and take advantages of the services and physical spaces we offer, including the social corner and the lawn outside. We also have a large collection of the latest graphic novels and manga right here, as well as our fiction and nonfiction collection across the room. And this is the young adult office, where I can keep an eye on things and be immediately available to offer assistance and answer questions.
Hi, I'm Mary Claire, and I'm here in the circulation department. In this department, we have a staff of 2 full-time and 5 part-time employees and a multitude of pages that support the patrons' needs. Besides processing holds, we man the phones here to help patrons with anything that they might need. One of the things we do is process new library cards or help them renew library cards. Another thing that we do is help them manage their own processing of holds, placing them by themselves if we can help them. And we help patrons sign up and reserve time on our computers.
Hi, my name is Lynn. I'm one of the pages at the library, Shrewsbury Library, and my job is to check in the books as they are returned. We get our books returned 2 ways. The books come in from other libraries. They go to a distribution center that then returns them to us, and these are the bins that we get. These are our return bins from other libraries. This bin here, because of COVID, we now have to put out a bin outside for our patrons to return the books. And then what I do is I scan the books as they come through. And if they are, for our library, they are going to go into one of the bins that is automatic, is marked as to whether it's a fiction, nonfiction, whether it's a juvenile book. If it's going to another library, it goes into our outgoing bin, and then they get returned another way. After the books are put in here to be returned, I then take them out of the bins and put them on the carts that we have against the wall.
Welcome to Technical Services. This is where we receive materials, process materials, catalog materials, as well as mending and repair materials. This is our staff. We have Charlotte over here, who is our expert with the children's department books. And then we have Noelle, who does mostly the adult and young adult books. And my name is Pat, and I work with a lot of the videos, the audio books, the music CDs, and the DVDs, and several bags of little kits and so forth that we do.
Good morning or afternoon, however you want to look at it. My name is Debbie. I do the outreach for the Shrewsbury Public Library here in Massachusetts. I am getting my carts ready to load up into a van we have and deliver. This one I will be doing this afternoon, large print. These I'm going to take out now and take to the van. I have preschools and people.
Right next to circulation, on our main level, you'll find our media section that has Blu-rays, video games, DVDs for both adult and young adults.
And heading further down, we have our large print fiction, and then further along this way, we have our, I guess, regular print fiction. So this is the predominance of our fiction catalog. It's all on this first floor.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I work in circulation and adult services here at the library. I'm standing in our library's main 1903 stairwell right now to show you our stained glass window. The window was purchased in 1904 and was made by Boston-based companies Spence, Mogler, and Bell. It's constructed out of opalescent glass, which fuses streaks of color to produce a milky, iridescent appearance. It incorporates floral elements, classical architectural designs, and small scenes within decorative borders, which are called medallions. It also features hand-painted and fired glass and 2 layers of plating. At over 5 feet wide and over 12 feet high, it stretches nearly 2 stories between our first and second floors. The lower portion depicts a ship at sea with the slogan, "Let your quest be for knowledge," while the upper portion features a Roman arch and 2 Latin phrases that translate to harmony and work and perseverance. During the library's 2016 renovation, the window was dismantled and shipped across the state to Guarducci stained glass studio, where specialists completed a full restoration. It was reinstalled in May 2016, 4 months before our renovated library reopened in September, and is a beautiful piece of library history.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second floor of the Shrewsbury Public Library. We are standing in front of our quiet room. It's the only part of the library where you can't talk. It's great for quiet study. Our biography collection is in there. Let's head inside and take a peek.
So this is the ward room where the oldest pieces of our collection are housed. Actually, the library's original, the donated books that make up the original collection of the very first Shrewsbury Public Library are in this room. So this room is not for regular browsing. It's only available by appointment. So this is our second floor reference desk. It looks a little bit different than usual because of the pandemic, but our reference librarian Suzanne here is available to answer any questions you might have while you're using the computers or browsing the nonfiction section or anything about any of our databases or really any of our resources. So this is the main public seating area for the second floor. It's also where all of our nonfiction stacks are located. We have our public computers here as well. You can sign up to use them for 2 hours at a time. There's nobody here right now because we're closed to the public, but normally these are very, very full. We have over 40 public computers in the building. Up here in the adult section, we have 24 of them.
Everybody, it's Miss Sonia again. Welcome to the children's room. Here you see we have a lot of public access computers. We have 7 down here for children. We have a 3D printer. We have children's media, which is DVDs, audiobooks, things like that. We have our chapter books right behind me. And then in this direction, we have our large nonfiction section. We go to grades, about to grade 5 in the children's room. On this side of the children's room, we start at the end with our circulation desk, our self-checkout stations, the staff work area. We also then around the curved bookshelf have easy chapter books, and this is our huge picture book section, all geared to a younger audience. Welcome to the children's program room. This is where we would usually host story times and special programs. This room is usually used at least twice a day.
Hi everyone, I'm Miss Roxanne, and I want to talk to you about our beautiful courtyard here at the library. When we renovated the library, one of the things that we did was incorporate the Artemis Ward Annex into the construction of this beautiful mural that was done for us, and this Artemis Ward Annex was the original entryway into the annex that was built when we made the 1923 addition onto the library, which was used as a children's room and to house the history collection of books.
Hi, I'm Priya Ratnam, the library director. I'm incredibly fortunate to be leading a team of caring, dedicated staff in serving the residents of Shrewsbury. I'm also very grateful to our community for their overwhelmingly positive response to the remote help, virtual programs, and digital resources that we've offered during the pandemic. Looking forward to the time when we can welcome patrons back to our beautiful facility. A shout out to our friends in Shrewsbury, UK, and I hope we can visit each other's libraries sometime soon. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed getting a chance to meet all of our staff and to see all of our building as much as it isn't quite in its normal state. think we have a pretty great facility here, a pretty great team here. I don't know if you want to weigh in on anything, Sonia.
Oh, we really appreciate it. We're really excited to see what Shrewsbury UK is like, and we look forward to talking to you on March 20th. Thank you so much for checking us out.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed both of the tours. Minor technical issues aside. So we're going to open it up to questions now. So if you are a patron of Shrewsbury Mass or Shrewsbury UK and you want to put a question into the chat, we'll try to answer them for you. I'm going to ask the first question though. Catherine, can you explain the little Lego thing behind you? You already did.
So when I started here, we started a Lego club. So pre-pandemic, we used to have children, it seems bizarre now, come in and all use Lego together. So we made that in as a sort of starter for Lego club. So one day we'll get back there.
So let's see, in the chat, the first question from Gail was the Shrewsbury UK video made during the pandemic?
It was, yeah. Our video was made, we sort of tailored it because we usually do a tour of our building, a historic tour, with very similar content. Around September for Heritage Week, and then for the Darwin Festival, which is around Darwin's birthday in February, we usually do a tour then. So of course this year we haven't been able to do those tours, so we thought we'd do a virtual one. So I really loved your video. It's lovely to see all the services and staff, but at the time we weren't sort of directing it for that. So the next video will be about the staff and what we do and things like that. So so yes, it was made during the pandemic.
Great. Actually, I think I had said, Sonia, do you mind taking point on the question?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, great. I was worried. Yes, absolutely. Happy to. So we have another question for the UK folk. How many people live in Shrewsbury, England, and how old is the city?
So I'm not a historian, so I can't really answer how old is the city, I have to say. I don't know. I wouldn't like to estimate, but I think our population is around 75,000. So that's probably about double yours. So you're about 35, is that right?
Yeah, we're like 36.
So, yeah. So yeah, around 75,000. So we have a core in the town centre and then surrounding villages.
Beautiful. Thank you. Another question, would like a little bit more information about the chained books on your shelves at one point. Can you share a little more information about that?
Yeah, so when this was when the library was a school. So when they first had those books, all the books would be spine facing forward, and the information about the book would be written on the pages. And then the back of the book would be chained to the shelves. So you'd often have something that you could lean on, but you'd have to stand at a shelf and look at the book there. So most of that collection went with the school when they moved. So they have an ancient library now called the Taylor Library, where you can see those books, and they have a huge collection of old maps and things like that. It's yeah, I've been in that library. It's got a bust of Oliver Cromwell's face and his death mask. It's an extraordinary library. So yeah.
Another question for the UK. Are the wooden beams in your library the original wooden beams?
So yeah, where I'm sitting in Riggs Hall, these ones are the original beams. So in the tour, it said about the sort of markings that would have been on them to sort of indicate what went where, like a big sort of puzzle, I suppose. So when it was refurbished, they were taken off site and then brought back and matched up. So yeah, these are the original beams.
That's so cool. Wonderful.
I'm going to jump in for a minute. Yeah, there's a question that came, it was to me privately, but it says from somebody in the UK, how is the U.S. library funded? It looks well supported. It is fairly well supported. I don't know if you want to answer that one, Priya, or I can.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. So it is funded by tax dollars paid by the residents of town. It is part of the municipality of Shrewsbury. We also receive programming funding from the Friends of the Library, a nonprofit organization that supports all our programs. And then we have some trust funds and generous sponsors from our community for special programs. But mainly it's funded by the residents of Shrewsbury.
Another question for the UK folk. Question about general library use in the UK. Do schools have their own libraries, or is it or the public library support students a great deal?
School children are very welcome into the libraries, but into our libraries. But some schools still do have their own. They have their own libraries. Not every school now will have a school librarian, which is a shame. But that has been most schools, primary schools and secondary schools, generally do have their own school libraries, and the older ones, the secondary schools, do tend to have a member of staff who's responsible for them. So we work in our council has a schools library service, so the schools buy into that and they can have collections sent out to them as well.
And can I just add that it's when coming up towards exams, Shrewsbury Library is absolutely chock-a-block with very worried looking teenagers studying very hard. And we miss them. I mean, it's a funny thing, isn't it? But you know, and when I was in school, and it's a long time ago, but the libraries tended to be more geared towards you know, curricula, the curriculum of what the kids needed to do. So we have obviously a wider selection of books to choose from.
Wonderful. Sounds very similar to what we have. We are greatly missing our students. We'd often have, you know, hundreds of teenagers, middle schoolers in the library Friday afternoons. And it's a very strange world to be in our space without them. We miss them dearly. A quick question, another one for UK. We have self-checkout machines at Shrewsbury, Mass. Do you guys have that technology at your library? It's a question in the chat.
So we don't have one now. We used to, but other libraries in the county do. Also, Shrewsbury Library has one. But I have to say, I'm so jealous of your sorting machine. It was absolutely amazing. So we have a very sophisticated system where we drag a bin on wheels over and pick out books and put them on our trolleys, etc. So no, but hopefully one day we will have self-checkout again.
Great.
Yeah, we actually now, because we've been quarantining machines, so we can't really use the sorting machine all the time, because normally that has chutes that go outside, so people returning books outside can just slide them right in and it'll sort. But because we have to quarantine stuff for a couple days, we kind of have to, we'll turn it on some days and turn it off, and so we're doing the bin thing too these days.
Great. So we have a question. I'm going to direct this directly to Diana, who is our queen seed lady at the library. We have a question about the seed lending library. Do you mind sharing how our library handles that?
Sure, absolutely. So it was originally funded by our Shrewsbury Garden Club for the first year. And then afterwards, it's been supported generously by the Friends of the Shrewsbury Public Library. So what I do is I order all the seeds. Currently, we have 84 different varieties. And this year, because of COVID, we can't have people going in and rummaging through all of the bins. We have a website set up so that families can reserve up to 10 seed packets. We don't expect it, even though it's lending, we don't expect seeds back, but they're all open pollinated and heirloom varieties, so that as a way of seed security, that folks can take the seeds, plant it, save their seeds for later use. Sometimes we get some seeds back, but it's a really great program. All of our seeds go by the start of June usually. a lot of times, a lot of things go really quickly. So it should be interesting. We're launching this coming Monday for our website to start reservations for those seeds. So I should be very busy next week with our seeds. But yeah, we have anywhere between a range to 70, 80 to 90 different types of seeds usually going out over the years. And I think this is the 5th or 6th year. I'm not sure. Yeah, 6th year, I think, with our seed lending library. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so much fun. The seeds are great. Another UK directed question. So the Shrewsbury Mass Library, we're part of a large consortia where we share a lot of materials constantly. Do you have interlibrary lending with you guys?
We do. At the moment, we don't, unfortunately, because stock isn't moving around the country. So everyone's paused their interlibrary lending. But pre-COVID and at some point in the future, we'll have it again. So we can go to any of the libraries in the country and ask them for stock. There is an extra charge for that one just because of transport, etc. So yeah, if we haven't got a book in stock, we will endeavour to get it for you.
Wonderful. Libraries are the best.
Yeah. And the good thing is about having a card for Shrewsbury UK is that it works in all the other Shropshire libraries. So you can get books from around the county, but not from outside the county. And there's also the music library, isn't there, Catherine? That's
So we have a music and drama library service is based here. So up in the old schoolroom, there's a big collection of music up there. So we lend out orchestral scores and things like that. So we're part of the network across the county, where if you are part of a choir and you need 50 copies of something, then we can get that for you.
Yeah, we start getting requests for Christmas stuff in about May, June, don't we?
Yeah, it's very competitive, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Easter, Christmas, those are busy times for the music and drama library. And plays as well. We lend out play sets.
Another kind of special collection question. Claire wrote, who's one of our trustees, Darwin was a wonderful writer. Even though it sounds like he wasn't a great student, do you have a special collection of Darwin books at your library?
We have quite a lot of Darwin books. I wouldn't say it's a special collection. So probably the school, they have a lot of his letters and like that in their Taylor library. But we do have a lot on our shelves about Darwin and Emma Darwin and all those sort of collections. So yes, when we reopen again, if you want to come and if you're a UK borrower, come in and have a look.
All right, now this is a question directed maybe Mike and Priya, you want different author visits in Massachusetts. Catherine writes from the UK, our library here in the UK in non-pandemic times runs excellent events, for example, visiting authors, talks. Do you do similar events?
I'll let you take point, Priya, but I'll jump in if I have anything to add.
Okay, thanks, Mike. We do have a lot of literary programs. We used to offer them when, before the pandemic, and we offer virtual programs now, including author visits, virtual visits. And in the summer, we usually have a local author showcase where we interview local in the sense, not just Shrewsbury, but, Massachusetts-based authors. And it used to be another one of those events where hundreds of people would come to the library. But last year we had a virtual one where we interviewed local authors. So we do have those regularly.
Yeah, we do a lot of different kinds of events, and certainly Sonia, you can weigh in too on some of the children's events. But yeah, we do all sorts of kind of stuff. So we'll have meditation workshops. We do cooking workshops. We have a lot of book clubs, and a lot of times we'll be able to get the authors of the books that we cover. So yeah, and I would say I think that's all pretty standard for U.S. libraries, depending on funding and location.
All right, there's a bunch of questions about a Shrewsbury biscuit. I'm wondering about. Everybody's hungry, I think.
So it's either Shrewsbury cakes or Shrewsbury biscuits. So I think they're more like what we would think of as a biscuit. So I think they usually have dried fruit in, and they have a hint of lemon, I'm told. But I've never had one. Isn't that shocking? I have to find a recipe.
I have a very funny story about Shrewsbury biscuits to share. I grew up in a town in Western India called Pune, and there was a bakery there where they made Shrewsbury biscuits, and it had Shrewsbury written on it. It was basically a lot of butter and sugar, so tasted fantastic. And when we visited friends and relatives in other parts of the country, people would say, "Bring those Shrewsbury biscuits from there." So at least my connection with Shrewsbury goes a long way back.
There's just round the corner from our library, there is a plaque on the wall that says, "Here was a bakery that made the first Shrewsbury biscuits." So no recipe, but they're claiming it.
If only we had an oven in the library, we could, yeah.
Not sure that's the best idea around a lot of paper, but yeah.
Not around all this wood, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Shrewsbury Mass Library, we support, I think, what was it, the 10 book clubs. We give those book groups books every month. Do you do that in the UK?
Yeah, so our headquarters, just up the road, actually in Shrewsbury, and they hold all our reading group sets. So, but they will send them all over the county. So a few reading groups have been still meeting at the moment. So they've sort of moved on to Zoom meetings, etc. Pre-pandemic we did that, and we have a couple of groups that meet here in Shrewsbury, in the library. But otherwise, people create groups and can have them everywhere. So
lovely. All right. Trying to scroll down. I think that unless Mike, you've seen a few other.
Yeah, there's a few,
at the bottom.
Yeah, there's a few other questions. There was one that I think got a little missed in all the biscuit talk. Maybe that was the book club one. There's one. Oh, Seema, who's from our library now, asked Shrewsbury UK, any fun facts readily available about books available in different languages at your library?
We do have collections upstairs in the old school room of fiction in other languages. I can't really think of any fun facts about them. I mean, we have all the Harry Potters and things like that. But Joe's our maestro for languages in our library, so he speaks a lot of languages.
Wow. A little bit of Spanish, and I speak Welsh because I grew up in Wales, which is about 25-30 miles from Shrewsbury in Shropshire. And yeah, so we do get, it's quite funny when we get people coming into the library and they've obviously got a Welsh accent, and then you serve them in Welsh, and so Gai help ich be, and it's a lovely thing. It's another thing where you're connecting with people. I think it's part of the library service that we all share a real sort of passion for, is the community side of it. As much as books are wonderful, and they are, and these are spaces where you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to do anything, you can just sit and read, or just sit and not read, and it's how many other places are there in the world that you can do that? It's so special. It really is.
I completely agree. Yeah, libraries, they definitely hold a special place in so many people's hearts. They're definitely all very unique, and yet all very that feeling reigns true throughout the world. I think it's beautiful. A question for Priya, I think might be great to answer this question. Does Shrewsbury Mass work with their community and health and well-being community health and well-being events in special collections?
We work with many organizations in our community and offer, programs and keep adding to our collections. We do have health and wellness related programs. We used to have health fairs for the pandemic. And now, as Mike mentioned, we do offer meditation and yoga workshops and, these kind of health and wellness programs, even now on Zoom.
Yeah, we used to do there were a bunch of I remember you used to, well, you and Caitlin used to run the Couch to 5K program.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yes, that was a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, with that was with some like a fitness center you were working with, or
a fitness center and a shoe store, local shoe store. Yeah.
All right, there's two more questions. I'm going to end with one of them, but before I do the final question, I'm going, this question is for the Shrewsbury UK. We have a lot of English learning classes through our library, English conversation circles. We have ESL materials. Does the Shrewsbury UK Library offer classes or groups for folks learning English?
So we don't have classes as such. I think the university over the river offer those sort of things. We do have lots of materials to help people, and we also have a volunteer who will come in and work with people one-to-one who are learning English or sort of basic skills type things. So yeah.
Great. And I think I might have covered all the questions. I think this is a great final question. To both libraries. So Catherine, I don't know if you would like to start. What is the best part of working in your library?
The best part is working with the people that come in. So you never know what question you're going to get, who's going to come through the door. And what I love is just, particularly in a public library, working with all sorts of people. You get to do children's work, you get to work with older people and everyone in between. So that's the best thing about it, is the people that come through the door.
I think we would all echo that. Love working with people. And that's why we are public librarians. We really, really miss welcoming people to our library. Hopefully soon it'll all happen again, right?
Yeah. I kind of wanted to reiterate something Joe said a little while back with the great thing about being a librarian, Shrewsbury, Mass, or any library really, is that you're really doing something for your community. You go into work every day and you know that you're making a positive impact on like people's lives directly. Like you're not trying to make money, you're not trying to pitch anything or anything like that. You're just there to help kind of keep society moving, keep people living their lives, helping them out in the ways that you can. You're literally just there to help the world.
I've got a question.
Sure.
What is the most elaborate description of a book somebody's given you to try and find it? Like it had a blue cover with a dog on it, or a tiger, or maybe the Pope.
And it might have been red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See, I feel like you don't get the elaborate descriptions that often, because then that gives you more to work with. It's usually like the stereo. What's the classic one? Like it was blue. It had a blue cover. You get people coming. That book about that guy? Oh, right. Yeah, that one. Got it.
The funny thing is that there's always one of our colleagues somewhere who'll go, I know exactly what you mean, and find it. That's my favorite thing. I think when somebody comes in with a very vague question, and then somebody that you work with will go, oh, actually, yeah, because they know the customer as well, so they'll know what they have been reading, and it might be a crime book or whatnot. It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll sometimes get because we're part of a consortia in central and western Massachusetts. We have listservs that we can mail out to. So every once in a while, you'll see something come through that listserv. Somebody being like, geez, I just got this really complicated description of a book. Does anybody know what this might be? And you'll see the same thing, like people weighing in, like, oh, how about this one? Or somebody will post a screenshot or something. So it's kind of the same thing on like a statewide level.
Proper teamwork.
It is. Well, thank you so much, Catherine and Joe, for collaborating with us. Mike, do you want to have the last word?
Yeah. Well, did Sonia and Diana want to weigh in about what's the best part of working in the library?
Well, I mean, I have to say ditto on everything that you've said. I think one of my favorite parts is working collaboratively with such an amazing group of people. I love working with the patrons, but I'm really feel so fortunate to work with such a dynamic group of people that if I don't have a strength, my colleague has a strength, and we just balance and mesh together. Like Joe said, like someone, your colleague down the hall was like, oh, I know exactly what that person means. I mean, it's just it really is a family. Like I go, I leave my husband and my daughter in the morning, but then I go to my work family, and it's just such a special place. And just the support of working within a community is so, I feel so fortunate. It's the people, hands down, it's the people.
I agree. People is definitely the main part of it. And I think I froze.
You're good. You're good.
I was like, oh, just put on me. But yeah, the people is the best part. And also that you get to bring in all of your random strengths from other parts. It's like, like Sonia says, you get to work with other people, but it's like, I might do more on the coding aspect for kids programs, like, helping starting the seed lending library, but that doesn't mean someone else doesn't bring in like this other unique aspect and being able to create this program that you're like, whoa, wait, what? You can do that. And so it's a lot of fun. And then, the best part though, is especially in the children's room is, following the patrons as they get up, older in age. And then all of a sudden like you have this reluctant reader and then they're like, oh, wait, I love that book you had. Do you have something like it? And you're like, oh, and you see like that magnificent transformation that just makes everything so awesome. And there's never a dull moment at the library for sure.
Yeah, we're never bored. We're never, ever bored. Every day's an adventure.
Okay, so it's a little after 3:00 now. So I think those are great sentiments to wrap up with. And echoing Priya, thank you so much, Joe and Catherine, for joining us. And thank the Shrewsbury Mass staff for pitching in as well. I want to especially thank all of our staff. We actually, when we first filmed our video, the original cut was like 40 minutes long. and you had sent us your, very tight, 10, 11 minute video. So we said, oh, that's going to take up the whole program. But I want to give a special thanks to everyone who took part in filming our video, because it gave us so much material to work with. And we will be posting the director's cut 40-minute version on our YouTube page, so everyone's hard work will be appreciated. This program was probably involved the most librarians of any single program that I've ever worked with to put together. So I definitely want to extend a special thank you to everyone in both Shrewsburys who was involved. And I know, Catherine, you and I had talked a little bit yesterday about trying to come up with something to kind of build off of this, maybe do a little something else down the line similar.
Sure, there's other things we can do. Yeah.
So this will not be the last you've seen of any of us. Definitely.
Good.
All right. Well, thanks again, folks, and we will see you all soon.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone who participated.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you to all you guys over in Massachusetts for being so generous with your time and all of your ideas and skills and stuff. It's been a really good project to work on together, really stimulating and fun, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A shark snow angel really made my day.
He's our unofficial mascot. We had a baby shark event, and then the shark costume just kept along, and we've made lots of videos with that.
Oh, I want one.
All right, folks. We'll see you later. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.